All right, Coach Pearl, thanks for being here. Guys, we'll start with Coach Pearl. Any thoughts on today's game?
Well, one of the things that we talk about with Auburn basketball is to try to make history. And we're very proud of the history of Auburn basketball and some of the great players like Charles Barkley or Chuck Person or great coaches like Sonny Smith and Cliff Ellis. And this is our second top 5 win in the non-conference in the history of Auburn basketball. Not since 1990, when Kansas did it, has a team started 5-0, including 2 top 5 wins. So to this point, we've made history, but we're not celebrating. That was a really good Iowa State team. To put 49 on us in the first half, and we didn't play very, but they played great. The guys did a good job at halftime, kind of getting after each other and not quitting. Not having Chad Baker for much of that first half was a factor. We're a lot better with him on the floor. But I thought, one thing I'm very proud of for these guys is they trust each other. They each took turns stepping up. And that there's as good a win as we're going to see, and as good a game. Proud of my team and our coaching staff.
Let's open it up to questions for the players.
This is for both of you. I'd love for both of you to answer just how you saw that winning play out. Was there anything that was broken down? Were you going off of instinct? I guess, Janai, you go first, but lay it out for us what you saw that led to the win.
I mean, first off, they called a timeout with 22 seconds left, and our first objective was to get a stop. We pride ourselves on our defense, and as you can see, the second half, we took a lot of pride in that. So in order for us to even get that last possession, we got to get a stop to be able to win the game. So we ended up getting a stop. Coach wanted a simple high ball screen with me and Denver. Denver drove, and we teach it every day in practice. Worst thing to do is get on the rim. Me and Dylan's down there. We're 2 animals, and he got on the rim, and I let God do the rest.
I mean, Coach really emphasized on us, especially on the big guys, to, whenever a shot goes up, to go, be there for the second chance points. And, Janai, he's been on Janai a little bit more about it, so I feel like today he was just being a beast down the paint, and, he was in the right position at the right time and just got to be able to get the tip.
Good.
Chad, I mean, you go down with injury. You look like you were really, really fighting through it there, especially in the second half. Just kind of what happened when you got hurt, and what made you be able to gut it out like you did after halftime?
I would just bump knees one of the guy and, probably hit like a bad spot. And then, I always say, my mama raised a warrior. So if I'm not dead, I'm going out there in the court. So just basically had to soak it in and just, come out there and put a fight for the boys, because I know they have my back and the coaching staff. So, I got to do the same for them.
Janai, on that last play, the tipper, did you cramp up like when you landed, when you were on your back?
Yeah, I cramped up in my right leg. We're in a different environment a little bit. I played probably a couple extra minutes tonight. But, I kind of trained myself to, be conditioned and, play through conditions like that. But I kind of just cramped up, that's all.
You played the whole game.
All
right. For both of you, Coach talked about the conference down here. Coach talked about you all kind of rallying at halftime. There are moments in seasons that can really kind of spur you forward. It feels like there was a special moment there. What did you say to each other at halftime when you're looking at that deficit?
I mean, we was really encouraging each other, just basically that we weren't playing right, and knowing that they probably had the best half that they could ever have against us. So basically we was talking against each other, saying just we either going to come back out there and let them do the same thing, or we're going to put a stop to it. So I feel like, especially Janai was delivering the message. He came out there and, said the right things that especially got everybody fired up. So, we came out there and, did what we had to do.
Janai, I mean, you guys on defense, I mean, they went almost 5 minutes without even hitting a shot there towards the end. Just what was the key for y'all to kind of slow them down and get the stops like y'all were able to?
Credit to them. First half, they probably went 5 minutes scoring every bucket. They had 49 points in the first half. But, ultimately, we pride ourselves on our defense. And at halftime, the message was just like, we got to get stops in order to win. We set a number. And in order to get us number, we had to get a lot of stops in a row. We had, in immediate timeouts, they said get 5 stops in a row. Try to get 3 stops in a row. And then we just keep piling on top of it. And eventually, they go into the scoring drought and we're able to get back in this game.
Guys, to start off the second half, you went on a 15-2 run. Besides the mindset change that you just discussed, was there any game plan shift that you had going into the second half?
Just be unselfish. Trust each other. Get stops, run in transition, and set our defense on the defensive side.
Any more questions for the? Yep, one more.
Janai, I just want to ask you about Chad. Just him playing through it and watching him, gut it out like he did. What does that say about him and what he brings to this team?
I wasn't never really worried about him. I know he's a fighter. And at halftime, I talked to him, and he said he's going back out there. And throughout the second half, he said, I got you. You know what I'm saying? I knew he was coming to play. He was coming to bring it. And as you can see, he's special. He came back in, hit a lot of big shots after not playing for a while. And that's the type of person he is. He got our back because, we got his.
All right, thanks. Guys, you guys take off. Any questions for Coach Pearl?
Here. Get some Gatorade. That's open. Help him out, Chad, help him out. Go get Clark, please.
All right.
Bruce, you guys are down 18 late in the first half, end up coming back and winning it. What was the key to the turnaround from your perspective?
Well, they were obviously played brilliant basketball in the first half with unbelievable effort and energy. They outworked us. But we only turned the ball over twice in the second half. They turned people over 1 in 4 possessions. And so they just weren't able to play with the same energy. And we were able to, run our offense and get the ball inside and, mix up our inside out. Look, it helped having, Chad Baker was plus, 13 in the game. We don't have him in the first half because of banging knees. So I just think, the offense was in front of our bench. I thought in the first half, we looked a little young, a little inexperienced. I thought we panicked offensively. But I give Iowa State all the credit for the way they played. That's what a top 10 team does. That's how you're supposed to play. But obviously, give our kids credit for hanging in there and having a character to be able to withstand that run and not panic. And obviously, starting off 15-2 changed the complexion of the game completely. I mean, they shot 58% in the first half and 32% in the second half. So our second half defense, our taking care of the basketball, maybe a little deeper.
Coach, in a game with so many momentum shifts, can you speak to the effect that the Auburn family, the fans that showed up, had on this game, and how this sets you up momentum-wise going into the rest of the tournament?
Well, we talk about just one game at a time. It'd have been really hard to have lost that game as well as both teams played and hard as both teams played and have to play tomorrow at 3 o'clock. That'd have been a really hard turnaround. 6 is going to be tough enough as it is after so much of an emotion. But we really talked more about the opportunity to play 3 great teams 3 nights in a row and not really much about the Invitational Championship. We recognize the SEC has only won this thing twice, and so in 40 years, we're going to certainly, now that we have advanced, we're going to try to make history, but You know, we just will have a whole new scout against Dayton or North Carolina, and a completely different team. But it was a good Iowa State team we beat tonight.
Bruce, you've gone with the double big starting lineup. Dylan had some huge plays, great plus minus. Just what was your thought process behind sticking with it and then like going back to it as much as y'all did?
Well, I can't take credit for it. Chaney Johnson was in huge foul trouble, right? And that's one blessing, is a sense that Chaney, you know, only played like 10 minutes because he got in enormous foul trouble, and he was playing well. So it was easy to go with Dylan, and easy to go with the double bigs, and they got two monsters in there too. And I saw the Dylan being in there at the end of the game, it just makes us better defensively. You know, he's one of the best defensive centers in college basketball. I thought Denver, you know, I was confident getting him a ball screen and getting him downhill. I thought that ball went in. It had to go in and out. I thought it was in. And then it comes out at the end, and Janai's there to tip it back in. Really proud of these kids. I thought Chris Moore came in the second half. Again, we were in some pretty good foul trouble. And Chris came in the second half and really picked us up defensively. Doesn't score a bucket, but his 2 assists, no turnovers, did a great job for us defensively. I thought a lot of different guys were able to contribute out there. Tahad had his moments, we needed his speed and his quickness. And I think the only thing that hopefully happens in that locker room is the guys gain confidence from the fact that there are enough pieces out there that doesn't have to be just Janai. We had several guys step up and make big plays. Big shots.
Last question for Coach, yeah.
And I just want to ask you, like you said, Janai played almost the whole game. Chad comes back from an injury. Just talk about those two guys, their toughness, and just how much, you know, they meant to like basically play that whole second half and help y'all come back.
You know, I think that these guys have embraced the fact that they love Auburn. I mean, truly love Auburn, and they're truly grateful for the support Auburn gets. Our guys, if you take a look at those guys that are out there, you know, Janai Broome was not recruited at a high major level. And he's got a chance to be one of the best players in college basketball. Like, he was a 3-star. That kind of wears on him. He wears that. You know, Chad Baker was in junior college. You know, Denver Jones had to be in junior college and work his way up to Florida International. You know, our guys we may be a Power 5 or Power 4 or whatever. We got a lot of hardworking, kids with some chips on their shoulders, and hopefully just taking advantage of the opportunity.
Great. Thanks, Coach. We'll bring Iowa State in 1 second.